What's going on? You're hanging out with Death Count, and welcome to part one of my room collection tour. We're going to start off with the figures within the display case. To give you a quick overlook of what we're going to go after here. There it is. This is part one, man. I got a lot of shit to share with you guys, but we're going to focus on the figures in the display case. Let's not wait a moment. Let's start off right here with Hot Toys Superman. Where did I get this figure? I got it in Puerto Rico. Got it last year. And what I really enjoyed at Puerto Rico Comic Con was everything was cheap. Everything was really cheap. And I found this figure, and most of the people there are very cool with doing deals. So I ended up leaving with this figure for only $140. So it didn't come with the base. I had to buy that separately, but for $140 just for the figure, it was not a bad deal at all. I did not mind buying the base separately. It is absolutely beautiful, right? Rest in peace, Christopher Reeve. Man, I grew up watching Christopher Reeve Superman. This is my Superman. You know, of course, I'm a huge comic book fan, but before I even read comics, man, I watched Christopher Reeve on TV, through the movies, of course, and this was a must-have. So iconic, man. So iconic. Christopher Reeve was just born to be Superman, so what else can I say? This is a masterpiece from Hot Toys. So let's move on to the Superman 3 Hot Toy. Of course, it came with this awesome base. See the evil version? Broken Street. I wish, man, I always said, man, I wish the base was more of like a junkyard instead of a broken street, because the best scene from Superman 3, and probably, I mean, a lot of people might say the only good scene from Superman 3, was when Clark Kent was battling this evil drunken version of Superman. Now see this head did not come with the original box. This is a custom. Got it from a buddy of mine from across the world, and was definitely worth it, man. Cost me, I think, around $95, and for me, it was worth every freaking penny, man, because it was pretty much the same head, but with some darker features. And I wanted something a little different, man. I wanted him to look more like from Superman 3. So I like how the hair here is more brown. I don't know if you could see it on the camera, but there's some gray here on the side of the head, right? Some white, some grayish, and he just looks so fucking angry and halfway drunk. He does look halfway drunk, so I absolutely love this figure. The colors are just about right, just about perfect, and these two side by side, you know, I feel like if it was the same head on both of them, I don't know, it still would have been awesome, but because I got the custom head, it really makes big differences. Of course, you could see the difference of color, but I knew the head would make a big difference, so love these two, man. Love these two. Absolutely love them. I wish I could put them in flying poses, but don't have the room in this display case. So let's move on. Here we have Jack Nicholson from The Shining. One of my favorite horror movies, probably top 3, but I think my favorite top 3 horror movies, probably The Exorcist, then The Shining, and 3. Maybe I'll go back and forth with other things, something in the 80s, but this figure is awesome. It's from the brand Craft One. And I know that Rain Man made his own version, but to be honest, man, I really believe, and I'm not just saying because I own this, I really believe that this figure is superior. You know, sometimes it's not about the price, man. It's not about price. I know how much Rain Man charges, and he does a lot of good work, but comparing this face to his face, I have to say this face is probably better. The head sculpt is probably better. So, gave him that classic pose when he was kind of dragging his leg after getting hurt. And this was something I really wanted into my collection. I feel like before I got this figure, I didn't have a ton of figures, but the ones I have, I feel like they're great, but so many other people all have the same figures, right? And I don't usually compare myself to other people, but I wanted something that stands out from other people's collection. So adding this was thrilling for me. Really thrilling. And what I did was I took the second head that came with this figure, and I put it on the body of the Batman Returns Bruce Wayne body, and I turned it into another Shining figure, just like from the end of The Shining when Jack is wearing the suit. That one I sold because I wanted to make room, and after selling that, I forget like what I bought, man. When I sell it, pretty good price. So, this thing I'm not parting at all. This is in my collection for a long time. So let's move on with Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I have such a great history with Beetlejuice. Man, I remember 1988. I was a little kid. One of the first movies I really remember seeing in theaters. I remember my grandmother took me to see it along with my aunt. And I believe we saw the movie Big with Tom Hanks and Beetlejuice on the same day. So, I was terrified. But then again, I was a little kid. I was probably like 4 or 5 or 6 at that time. Probably like 5. Right? But this figure is awesome. And I love posing them together, Jack and Michael, because I'm such a Batman 89 fan. It's kind of like I have Batman and the Joker here, but alter egos, right? So, love Beetlejuice. Love the movie. Tim Burton, man. Tim Burton needs to go back to like he was doing in like the 80s, man. Do original stuff. Stop doing these remakes, fucking Burton, man. Start doing some fucking complex original work. Tim Burton has a lot of talent, man. He's wasting a lot of time doing remakes, so that's all I gotta say. Beetlejuice. I know this head is very controversial, but you know what? I'm not gonna fucking complain. Do I wish it was a different head? Yes, but I'm happy to have a Beetlejuice, dude. It's not terrible, so overall, I'm very happy with it. Very happy, and these two look great together. So let's move on. Gotta get on my knees now. All right, here is Darth Vader from Rogue One, even though it looks like he's more-ish from The Empire Strikes Back, right? Lightsaber is right? But the actual body, the figure, the head sculpt, incredible. Incredible work from Hot Toys. You know, the base is I'm not crazy about it, but I don't hate it. But it's all about the figure, and it's such an imposing figure, man. Like, when I compare this figure for, let's say, like this Batfleck, you know, Batfleck is a gigantic figure, but Vader is much bigger, so it's very imposing in your display case with Vader. And you know, when you compare it to Robocop, and Robocop is a big figure, dude. Like, Robocop is not a midget. You know what I mean? Like, he's a big guy, and Robocop looks like a little kid next to Vader, right? So it's a very impressive figure, and I'm very happy to own it. And Rogue One was, you know, I thought the movie was cool, but the Vader scene was by far the best. If you don't have a Vader, don't worry about it, man. Vader will be in many, many more movies coming out, so don't worry about if you didn't pick this one up, man. There will be more, okay? So let's move on. Here's Robocop. Of course, I got the battle damage version. Why did I get the battle damage version? Because I love anything battle damage, man. If you follow me, if you have watched some of my previous videos, I talk a lot about battle damage stuff, and this Robocop is incredible. You know, man, look at how the face kind of peels on to the metal. It's just incredible, man. A lot of people come over to my house and they look at my display case and they're like, what is he holding? He's holding the baby food. And he's kind of like, you know, I posed him like this thinking, you know, what is he thinking at this point? Like, this is the rest of his life now, eating baby food. I don't think he wants to live that way anymore, right? So that is the kind of pose that I have him at that time in his life. So work is incredible. The damage, man, the bullets everywhere, leaking everywhere. Just everything is so fucking cool, dude. I love Robocop. And it wasn't an easy choice from going between this and the regular version. I know the regular version has a lot of extras, but I love anything battle damage. And I felt like if I was to get the face unmasked, I would get, with the face unmasked, I would get a lot of character out of it. And that's how I feel. I got a lot of character out of it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm going to cut this vid now just because I want to try to keep these videos under 10 minutes. Part 2 will start up with these Batman figures, and we will go on and on in the display case into part 2. So I want to thank you for watching part 1, and we'll talk real soon.